7-year-old Charlotte wrote to Legos saying that I love Legos, but there are not enough Lego girl people as much as there are Lego men people. Pink is for girls and blue is for boys. Dolls are for girls and cars are for boys. These are standards that the society tells us to believe in. But then there are people who go out there and break every convention ever set, question every standard ever set. We have one such person in our studio today as our finale guest for Fitting In. Welcome to the show where you do not need to fit in. Hi Alex, welcome.
Hi, thanks.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, Alex, how about we begin with you telling us something about yourself?
I'm an 28-year-old queer man. I've been out and open about myself since October 2014, and I work as a media professional in NGO, so where we deal with better livelihoods for the sex workers and the LGBT community.
Wow.
And I'm basically from Kerala but settled in Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that you're out and proud. Could you tell us something about your journey, about how you found out about your sexual orientation and how did everybody around you take it?
Okay. I loved being part of the theater. I'm very dramatic, and I loved being part of acting and singing and all that, because my whole goal was to be a Broadway performer in New York, and that's my goal still now. So what I wanted, when I came to Bangalore, I happened to enroll into a theater workshop, and I happened to be part of the theater group. In the whole process, I got to know about myself, because any theater actor needs to know about who they truly are, and that's how they can open up to the audience. So in that whole process, I came to know that there is this side of me where I'm actually attracted to men, and I'm also, this feminine qualities there within me. And when I found out about myself, I knew that I can't go with what the society is telling me to do, where society is telling me you need to get married, have kids, and live the life a society tells me to do. So that is when I got to know about myself. And I told my parents a lot of times, hey, this is me. But they were they were not ready to see the elephant in the room. They were ignoring the whole fact, saying that, it's a phase, it'll go and all that. Once you get married, maybe, it'll be done, that sort of thing. But one day I just took the whole courage to write an email, which I've been framing for 6 months. And I actually sent it to both of them. For a day, I didn't hear anything from them. The next day, my father sent the email to a wrong ID, then he sent it to my actual ID. And where he's saying that, sexuality is a sin, and my mother was shouting at me through the call and all of that. But what happened was, I made a point of giving them the time and the space. We kept fighting over almost for a year. But the moment they got to know that, hey, this is not just a phase, so this is not just him, acting like a cranky kid, that's when they tried to understand me. And then that's when they made a conscious effort of getting to know me, and they moved into Bangalore to get to know more about me. So that has been my journey till now. So yeah.
So your parents are in Bangalore?
Yes.
So has their understanding changed about who you are? And
see, it took almost 25 years for me to know about myself. So it's going to take maybe that many years for them to know about me as well. But I can see a slow progress. It's about getting to know me. It's about they are trying to understand me in whatever aspect they can. So that is a good progress for me.
So Alex, could you take us through your adolescence years when, everybody is confused about who they are and we're trying to find ourselves. So how was that phase for you?
It was actually equally confusing for me, because I was at that point in time, I was attracted to men and women at the same time. So I was very that men part would be just a phase. I kept telling myself about that, because even I'm a Christian. So I was also we're told in the Bible that it's a wrong thing, it's a sin and all that. So when that happened, I just kept suppressing that side of me. And my mom also warned me before. She looked at me and she said, you're not bringing a guy home. And she looked at my sister, you're not bringing a girl home. So it was more of a for me it was pressurizing. So I kept suppressing whatever that side was. At the same time, when I was in school, I knew that I was not like the other guys. I had this whole guys looking at me and teasing me, saying that you walk like a lady. And I used to go back to my mom and I was like, uh, why is this happening to me? And she's like, she kept saying that it's just you just grow out of it.
Okay.
And that's what her way of understanding me. But it was not. I didn't grow out of it. It is a part of me. She didn't understand that, and I took a lot of time for me to understand about myself. Now, after that, it was when it was very confusing. I've been through like stages where I kept thinking, when other guys have girlfriends, why don't I have a girlfriend? Like I told my mom one point of time, like, well, I'm going to get a girlfriend. She's like, go and study. That's what you're good at. Go. Like that sort of thing. Yeah.
So, but when you were growing up, were you aware of the concept of being homosexual? Had you heard the words gay, lesbian, etc. at that age?
I got to know all of that through movies.
Okay.
Like movies were like the ones where I got to know there's something called as being gay, being I didn't even know there's something called as being lesbian or transgender, because it was all new concept. But being gay was something which was very like made fun of in movies. Like I think I was still in school. I was just getting out of school when Dostana came out, and there was like a lot of gay men were actually ridiculed through the movie.
It's interesting you mentioned Dostana, and I remember the movie was being projected as Bollywood's first pro-gay movie. So, but you're saying something exact opposite. How did that
No,
make you
actually,
feel?
it isn't supposed to be considered as a pro-gay movie because it was actually perpetuating Bollywood stereotypes about the gay men, where one guy has to be feminine, another guy has to be masculine, or they both have to be feminine in order to have some sort of. It is even shown in a very lighter note in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai also, where Shah Rukh Khan is apparently the boyfriend of Saif Ali Khan. But that is actually perpetuating a lot of stereotypes where gay men are supposed to be feminine, which is not. I've known a lot of gay men and they are not like that. I would say the only movie that I felt was like I could connect to was Kapoor and Sons, where they were showing how the struggle of a gay man is to coming out to his mother. So for me, that was like the movie that actually spoke about the gay community, the struggles of being gay. Like, I would say even My Brother Nikhil was another fantastic movie.
Yeah.
So where they talked about, AIDS being prevalent in the gay community, and where we need to talk about more about, AIDS in the community, exactly.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, like you said, it's very, very difficult to come out even now. Now that, we have a lot more people talking about it, but still it's difficult. So, I'm sure somebody must have said something that wasn't very nice when you told them that you were gay.
There were a lot of people who were like, oh, okay, like, oh, you're gay. Like, there's like, oh, I knew this about you. Like,
Okay.
I had a friend of mine, I met her in Hyderabad. She said, I knew this about you. And I'm like, okay, why didn't you tell me? She's like, I wanted you to know about it first. I can't make the whole conscious. And she made it a joking comment saying that not all guys would come out to shop with me and would have fun with me while I shop. So I was like, okay. So that is the whole thing about, that's how she got to know about me. There were other people who actually they went with the whole thing is saying that, oh, it's against the religion. They didn't want to see the whole fact that he's happy because he found out about himself. They were more perpetuating the way of the religion says it's a sin. So I think it's a sin too. And I think you're following out on the wrong path.
Yeah.
There were so many people, because I'm Christian, so there were a lot of people telling me about it. But if they read the whole Bible clearly, there were a lot of other stuff which is also a sin, which they are not following, or they are actually doing it. So I keep telling, when they come and tell me, oh, homosexuality is a sin in the Bible, I'll say, okay, then even eating pork and wearing two fabrics in the same cloth is also a sin, which you are apparently doing it right in front of my eyes. So I think that is also something wrong.
So, Alex, like you said, you wrote a long email to your parents. Do you think they had some idea before that? before the email went out?
And my mother was in a denial mode because whenever I told her, hey, I'm like this, she's like, no, you're not. I don't think so. Like she kept denying it. But at the fact that she couldn't see the signs where people are actually calling me, hey, you walk like a lady, or I behave in a certain way. I didn't behave like how my cousin brothers were behaving. She never took those signs. She just thought, oh, my son is like unique, special, and I like the way he is. And there were times when I kept telling her stuff like, hey, I want to learn how to dance, like in terms of Bharatanatyam. Then she's like, no, you can't do it because you become gay. And then after that, I was more like, I want to, I was good at drawing. So started drawing about all this women figures with, drawing saris and different types of saris and, different ways. And I said, oh, I want to be a fashion designer before I did my graduation. So I wanted to pursue graduation. She said, no, you become gay. But then her worst fears came true. So in spite of doing nothing of that, I came out as gay to her. And she was very she's been in a denial mode saying that, no, you're not. She just kept saying that. So I think there was a time when I tried to show her various ways of say, hey, there are people out there like us. There are people it's surprising that she keeps watching Coffee with Karan and she's okay with him being flamboyant and doing all of that. But when her own son is in front of her doing all of this, she just can't stand it. And there was this movie, I can't remember the movie's name, where the mother was actually in the movie the mother was actually saying being gay is wrong to the son, because son just came out and she kept pushing him away, throwing him out of the house and all of that. And what he did was he just went and jumped out of the bridge and he was killed. She says a line in that movie where she's like, before you state anything about that being sexuality is wrong and it's a sin and all that, and you say amen, you always should know that a child is listening. And I kind of told this to my mother, but my mother was more like, I have values, or I believe in a lot of things and I'm going to stand by it, so nothing is going to change. And I am happy the way the life is now and all of that. I've not given up actually. I've just put a pin to it. Whenever she takes an opportunity to come and talk to me about it, I will definitely talk to her. But right now it's a stage where I'm just being silent about it. I don't want to, I tried my ways. I tried many, wherever there was a loophole, I tried ways. And that's what I've just, she's slowly, seeing the whole changes or whatever I'm doing in terms of, recently I took the magazine where I was featured. And she readily saw it. And there were times when she was, she was not ready to even talk about it, but now she is slowly at least listening to me.
Could you take us through the day when you came out to your parents? How did things unfold?
So it was not during the day when say I wrote an email that I came out. There was a particular day where my sister outed me out. And it was not a really nice scene, because my sister was, she was okay with me talking about it, and she was like, hey, Amma will be sad, why? Because you won't be able to give her a grandchild. And I said, listen, I can go and adopt a child, because that is what is more important these days. She was being insecure in a lot of ways, and that is when she said that she tried threatening me, saying that, I'm going to tell Amma about you being gay. And I was like, hey, go ahead, tell her. Me, me thinking like this, I said, oh yeah, fine, sure, go ahead, tell her, that sort of thing. And we were eating lunch, and in the least unexpected moment, she said, hey, Amma, do you know Akshay is gay? And I was shocked, and my mother started laughing because she thought my sister told a joke. And then she started eat your lunch, finish your lunch, and then we'll just go to your room. That's what my mom said. And she started quoting from the Bible, saying it's wrong, it's this, it's that, and all that. So the moment came where I said that I'm not going to tell you anything about right now, I'll tell you at the right time when it comes. So I will not tell you like at this situation about what is happening with me. And also I think at the same time I was experimenting, I was trying to find out who I am and all that. And that is when, like after I think a year or less than a year, I came out of the closet to them. I wrote an email and that's what happened.
Okay.
So yeah.
So like you said, your mother was quoting from the Bible. How important a role do you think religion played in this, in your story?
See, for me, like the religion played a really important role because my mother is a God-fearing woman. We are from a conservative Christian family. So going to church was like it was almost like if you don't go to church, it was like a sin. Like she keep telling me, you have to go to church because God lives there. I'm like, God lives within you. Like you don't have to go to church. But she keeps thinking like that. Like she keeps thinking you have to go give your get your communion, and that's how your sin is all forgiven and all of that. So she thinks that because I'm not going to church, I'm sinful or whatever. But she should understand the various. She should understand me first before I can. Like I literally I thought, okay, when she comes to Bangalore, maybe I should just listen to her, go to church, be this dutiful boy, and maybe she'll try to understand me. Well, that didn't work out at all. So I was like, listen, like the moment you listen, you understand me, is the moment that I will talk about myself. That is what I'm going to do.
So Alex, from your experience, from your interactions, what do you feel about people who stay closeted for their lives and never come out?
I think it's really going to complicate their lives far more. I know men who are like that, and they may be doing it because of family pressure or peer pressure or so many different. Even there are people who say, oh, I work in a company so where they don't accept LGBT people, so I'm closeted. Okay. There are people like that. I dated supposedly a bisexual guy who's kept telling me since the time I started dating him that he's going to get married soon. So which went on for 2 years and 9 months. That's a lot of years where you have to decide whether to get married or not. And he kept telling me that. I think I was the excuse for him to push off his marriage. And he was not ready to come out. He was like, you know what, I used to keep questioning him. I said, listen, so are you sure that you're not going to maybe date a man after marriage? He said, no, I won't. I will end my life if that happens. And I know that he was being a little dramatic about it, but at the end, you need to think about it realistically. You have been sleeping with men all this while. So there are these men who are living the double lives, as we call it, where they are married but they sleep with men, and they supposedly call themselves as bisexual, but actually they are not. They are closeted gay men. I think it's they think that it's the easy way out, but it's not. It's complicating. People look at me and say, oh, you've gone through a long journey, you came out, and so I think being myself is more important rather than following what the society tells you to do or the family tells you to do. Because for 25 years of my life, I've kept listening to what my family was telling me to do. You need to go get BCom done. My father kept telling me this. So I said, no, I want to do journalism. No, journalism doesn't get you money. Do BCom. I listened to him. I did MBA because she wants me to because people right now, whenever you get married, you need to have the MBA status with you. So I did MBA. And then after that, you need to work in MNC. And I did that. So I did that for 2 years actually. But in that whole process of me doing everything or satisfying what my parents or family was telling me to do, there was no this thing about what do you want to do or what are you truly happy about. That was not ever discussed. And that's I was when I came to Bangalore, I was like, you know what, it's time for me to live. It's time for me to live my life, and that is what is more important. I need to be happy. If I'm not happy, then none of the people around me will be happy.
So Alex, how difficult is it to be a gay man in India?
So when I came out, Section 377 was not criminalized, or it was out saying that hey, you can live freely being a gay man. And it was about December of 2014 that the verdict came out that it is going to be criminalized.
Yeah.
And I could have easily been. I came out in October 2014, and the verdict came out in December 2000. I could have easily gone by the clause and saying that, hey, it was just a phase, that sort of a thing. But I didn't. I was like, I stood by my ground. I said that, listen, I'm going to fight for my rights, and that's what is going to happen. In that whole period of my life where I was out as a gay man, and I was I was out as a gay man, that is when I lost 2 jobs because of my sexuality. They never gave the reason, but they were like, they were asked me to leave. I went for an interview where the interviewee, supposedly this is an NGO, the interviewer actually said, "Oh, you are effeminate, so I don't think you can do the job."
You can do the job.
You can't
Okay,
do the
okay,
job.
okay.
So I was kind of taken back, because how can you judge me based on my sexuality about me doing a particular job? It's a job. I'm not.
Right.
My sexuality doesn't come into the play ever. So it has been hard on me, because it's actually, and I've been like totally scared at the same time, because you never know where you're going to get caught about because of Section 377 being played out. So I have to be very careful. I had to at times when I was dating my ex, I was kind of very skeptical, very like, should keep it low, everything. I was playing it very safe in terms of being a gay man in India. So yeah.
So, like you mentioned, work and you lost 2 jobs. Has there been any other repercussions or maybe there are expectations that now that you're out, do people expect you to dress a certain way at work or talk to them a certain way?
Yeah, there were times when people thought that being gay means that you be very effeminate at work and all of that. Like, that's the same case what happened when that interviewer thought, because I came out as gay or I said that I'm a gay man, she thought that, I will not be able to deliver the work. I will fall back because people will be making fun of me. And, I was thinking, 25 years of my life, I've never, fall into depression or any sort of a thing where people made fun of me, so I need to just go back into my shell.
Sure. So, Alex, your sexuality is something very, very personal. So, what's your take on the fact that there are laws about it or somebody else is deciding how you should be living your life?
I think it's absolutely rubbish that somebody else tells you how to live your life, because it's your own life. You are living your life. The government or anybody or the matter should respect the person for who he or she is. He, she, they is. So that is what matters most, where the right to living your life and it's free. So if that is not given, then there's this whole thing about it is actually going wrong with the constitution, because it's written there that you have right to freedom, right to equality, right to everything. So that's something which is going it's contradicting with what the constitution of India is saying.
And now we have the right to privacy.
Yes, it's very important, because if the right to privacy is there, it's a fundamental right. We can actually fight against Section 377.
So it's a positive
movement. It's actually we've been given a hope, because till date there was, I keep telling people, there is this whole negativity seeping in through the community, saying that, because Section 377 is there, we can't do anything. But there are people I can see who take this as a way to fight. There are people who get married, men who get married to men, women who get married to women, and they're like, we don't give a shit about what the government tells us to do. We are going to do this. We are going to live with each other.
So, like you said, the flip side of not coming out is maybe an easier way out, but if you do come out, there's a lot of pain associated with it. Like you said, friends distanced you and everything. So you knew about that, things like these could happen. Still, what gave you the courage to just go ahead and do it?
Because I wanted to be true to myself. For me, I felt like I was hurting myself. Or whenever I was a theatre actor, whenever I was going on stage, I was feeling conscious about myself. A theatre actor is never supposed to be conscious about themselves. They should be happy with who they are, and they should be happy with what they are. And that is what was more important for me at that moment. For me, that time I thought, okay, friends, if I lose, there'll be another set of friends that will come. That was how I thought, and I think I was thinking it very forwardly. So that is something which I was I was really happy with. That whole process of me actually you know what, it doesn't matter. I'll get new friends. It doesn't matter. Like, their people will stick by me. There was this whole process of me. Actually, it's not like I magically this thought appeared to me. I was sad. I was very emotionally, I was all over the place. But then the moment you see that whole hope, you get right, you make this hope come in you, is more beautiful than this whole thing about oh, I lost so many friends, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so after you came out, you said there were some difficult bits that you had to deal with, but there must have been some happy bits too. So how did your life transform after you came out?
So even though I lost a lot of jobs and all of that, I came across a job where I could be myself, no matter what my sexuality is, no matter what this thing is. They were ready to accept whoever they are. So I came across this NGO called as Solidarity Foundation. A friend referred me there, and I was hired as a communications officer. And then I could be my boss is a lady, and she is ready to hone this whole profession in me, and that was, I could see the change. This whole bit of I can go to anybody and I could be hey, this is me and this is who I am, and I didn't have to shy away from it. So that is what I loved about myself, that I didn't have to hide in the I am open to my friends and family, but in the closet when it comes to strangers. I could go and I could be open about myself. And the beauty of this whole thing is when a person is uncomfortable, I could see it in their eyes, and I'll be yes, I know you're uncomfortable, so I'm definitely not going to talk to you more. And then I just walk off. So for me, it was more filtering out the people that I don't want to talk to. And at the same time, a lot of people started writing about my story, my journey. A lot of people said that I'm inspiring, and they could sense that whole I'm not going to shy away because somebody told me to do something. And people were ready to even help me perform in theater and all of that. So for me, that was more my whole happy, because I was actually on this pathway that I dreamt of way before I came to Bangalore. So that is the whole beauty bit of me.
So what role has Bangalore played in your journey?
Bangalore has played a huge role. I was able to it was not I met Bangalore and then I became out and open about myself. I've studied here for 3 years, and I was able to I was not able to freely express about myself because I was living with my aunt. But the moment I was being independent, the city was ready to accept me whatever way I am. You be straight, you be gay, you be bisexual, you be lesbian, you be queer, you be a transgender. It doesn't matter. It was almost you be who you are, and we are ready to accept you the way you are. And that is what I liked about Bangalore. Wherever I was going, people were ready to accept me the way I am, and they were genuine about what they feel. You always like people who ready to tell you on the face, and most of the people in Bangalore are like that. They're ready to tell you on the face, dude, this is not working out, dude, this is working out, that sort of a thing. So that is what I liked about Bangalore, being very open about themselves, and the community is such that they're ready to help a person come out of the closet. They're not one of those communities who are not ready to come out and they only prefer a set people and all of that. They're ready to welcome any new kind of people, and that is what is more important. So for me, where I was in Kerala, I was in Hyderabad, I felt more accepted in Bangalore than in any other places. I was born in Kerala, but I was accepted in Bangalore, and that's a big thing. So, yeah.
So like you said, the community is helping, and they would actually help you out if you want to come out. But in general, say pop culture, stuff that's happening around us, books, movies, music, people who are influencers, do you think enough is being done to make a congenial atmosphere for people?
I don't think it's much in Indian movies as such. There are a lot of books actually. There is a lot of books by Devdutt Patnaik. There are a lot of books by Vikram Seth, who's out and openly gay. So there are various books in terms of like literature. There are a lot of books. In terms of movies, there aren't many, but there are many movies in the West, and that is what is actually like helping people, realize about themselves. Like I love to sing, and I'm like this hardcore musical fan. So I've seen almost all the musicals that is there in the book, whatever's come out as movies. My favorite being like Birdcage, where there's this bit about this gay couple running a club. There is a bit about lot of movies where it's about transgender, like people coming out as transgender. So I go to those movies to get inspired from and to be who I am. There is this musical called as Rent, where it's about gay people living in New York City, and how they, gay, straight, all of them living in the same city, how they have to cope up with their daily lives in New York life, and at the same time, one of them have been infected by AIDS.
Okay.
And how they go through this whole, where a person just one fine day he's there or she's there, and the other day she's not, and that is how life is. So I've been getting inspired from all these movies and musicals, in fact. So that's how I get. So like I'm pretty sure most of people get it from.
I am so glad that my guest mentioned about their love for singing, and now that I know about it, I'm not going to let them go without singing something for us.
Okay, so the song that I'm going to sing is Madonna's Vogue, but it's my version. So here it goes. Look around, everywhere you turn is heartache, it's everywhere that you go. Beauty's where you find it, yeah, not just where you bump and grind it. Soul is in the musical, that's where I feel so beautiful, magical. Life's a ball, so get up on the dance floor. Come on, Vogue, let your body move to the music. Hey, 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 come on, Vogue, let your body go with the flow. You know you and do it. Madhubala, Dilip Kumar, Nargis and Raj Kapoor, Amitabh Bachchan, Parveer on a cover of a magazine. Ashwarya and Shushmita, picture of a beauty queen. Prabhudeva, Mitunda, Madhuri Dikshit, dance on air. They had style, they had grace. Deepika Padukone gave good face. Sridevi Kajol Vidya too. Rekha Ji, we love you. Ladies with an attitude, fellas that were in the mood. Don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike the pose, there's nothing to it. Vogue.
Wow. Thank you, Maya.
Anytime.
So, Maya, tell us something about yourself.
So I am Maya the drag queen, and people in Kerala call me Mayamma. I am basically from Kuttanad, Kerala, where I was born to a fisherman and a fisherwoman, and I fell in love with a guy named as Anand when he came when I was performing in a resort, and after that we just eloped and came to Bangalore.
Yes.
So a drag queen is basically a guy who dresses up as the opposite sex for feminine gender roles, for like over the top characters and over the top femininity on stage. It is basically, it ranges from doing for stage performances, doing it for photo shoots, doing for different, there are various genres in being drag queens as well. So I am a Malayali drag queen, and I mostly believe in doing comedy as a way to communicate to audience. I even do storytelling to deal with issues such as individualism, gender equality, and feminism. So that's what I stand for. And also I am more like an elegant, bold queen, and also at the same time sassy, and at the same time I can actually cut a person whenever they are shading me or whenever they are trying to put me down.
Maya, you've clearly brought a lot of sass to this room. Could you share one of your sassy jokes with us?
So people think that because I am from Kerala, they think that I will put always coconut oil in my hair. But that is not true. I don't put coconut oil on my hair. But if you think that I am putting coconut oil on my hair, I will definitely throw coconuts at you. So
Okay, I don't think you put coconut oil in your hair. I love your hair the way it is.
yeah.
So help me understand the transformation that you go through while you're putting on your costume, your makeup. What is it that you're feeling?
So I'm actually feeling more like, bringing out what Maya stands for, what she's actually made of. Like in terms of, I believe that there are so many things of my mother, my grandmother, my aunts. So I bring all of that qualities of what they are, and actually like bring it out when I'm actually putting on makeup, putting on sari, putting on the wig, putting on my heels. That's when I bring out the whole character. When she's complete, when we are almost done with her. So yeah.
So, and who inspired you to take this up?
Actually, so like how I said before, like I usually watch movies, and I came across this movie called as Mrs. Doubtfire, where Robin Williams was performing in drag, and I was like, hey, if Robin Williams can do drag, then I can do drag too, and that's how it all started. Then I watched Kamala Hassan in Chachi Chasobis, and then I went to Dame Edna, who is a straight drag queen in UK, and then from there I went to RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race, and the different kinds of drag race queens who inspired me to take it, saying that hey, it's fine, just use, like how RuPaul says, like you can actually use the like life gives you a box of crayons, and that is what you mean to take it out and just go crazy with your life.
Paint
So
it.
yeah.
So, like you were telling me earlier, your mom had an important role to play in your journey. Could you share that with us?
So when I was young, I used to always wait for my mom to get ready and all of that. So this innate quality of what I saw of her was the way she elegantly dressed up, and the way the elegantly she used to like go to different parties, it could be any form of dresses, and she would just carry that off. So that is the same quality that I got inherited from her. So whenever I go as Maya, I always become like this elegant queen. I'm not campy, I'm not crass. I actually take off that whole boy drag and just bring out this whole elegant woman inside me. So
Okay.
yeah.
So, and you were telling me she gave you one of her saris?
Yeah. So this was actually a very strange way, because I was actually contemplating whether I should do drag or not, and I was like begging God, please give me one sign so that I'll see that sign and actually do it. So we went for our family get together, and I see one of my uncle actually dressed up in total drag and coming on stage. I was like, this has to be a total
Sign.
sign. So that is when I went to my mom and I said, listen, I want to do this on stage too. I want to go on drag. And she was like, but can't you make a woman do it? Then I was like, that's not the point. The point is lost. So that's when I actually like kept pestering her, and then she just gave me a pink purple sari and with a purple blouse, and she told me, listen, check if the blouse is tight. And then she laughed and she just walked off. So that's how it all started, with me inheriting what my mother told me and what she wore. And that's how I started, like performing more and like knowing that elegance is my quality.
So, your first sari and the blouse was given to you by your mother.
No.
How is it? What's the experience like when you go out buying your blouses or you get them stitched?
I have a stylist with me, so I've never gone to like commercial street and told to ha bhaiya ye mere liye hai,
De
just
do.
de do. I couldn't do this. So what I've gone is, like, I have a stylist who she told me, come sweetheart, and then she just has this old like, they are actually Bengalis. They are all Bengali tailormen. The first time they saw me and they were like, what the fuck? Why is he like doing, what is he doing here? Like, they were giving me that shocked
Look.
expressions. Like, what is he here for? Because they've only had lady customers coming in and just asking their measurements and all. And the moment they got the whole thing, they were so open to the idea. They were ready to like, I was so shocked at what happened was that I just gave her blouse pieces because a friend gave it to me and she got it stitched. But she's like, you're doing a Madhuri Dikshit number, no? So why are you not wearing Gagra? And I was like, yeah, but it's expensive. It's like, too much of like, she's like, don't worry about all of that. I'll get it. She actually got it stitched from scratch. She literally saw me, okay, darling, like the blouse is ready, the gagra is ready, but the only thing is left is the choli. So I was like, okay, like, and then she took me inside and they were actually stitching it, like stitching everything one by, and I was like, this is a lot to take in. I was so overwhelmed at the fact that they were actually doing it, like, for me. They were actually fueling something, a dream that I started dreaming like ages ago, and they're actually doing it. So for me, actually, like, I was like, listen, I have to give it my 200% when I go on stage, and I actually did. I actually did that.
How was the first time being on stage as Maya?
I was really scared because I didn't know how drag is to be done. I didn't know what we have to do, like how I have to wear, what makeup to put. Like with this my mother's sari and blouse, I had a 600 rupees wig, which is I still have it. I think maybe if I get more famous or something, I will showcase it in some museum or something. I with that wig. And half-inch heel, and not like I've done, like you must have seen, I've actually packed my face with makeup. I only put lipstick, I put only kajal and one bindi. That's about it. I didn't put foundation. I didn't know anything actually. I was scared. I was very like, I was literally like, I think I was peeing and shitting at the same time. But what was the whole thing was me being excited that I'm doing something different, the adrenaline rush that I'm getting after the performance. So that is what I was longing for. I could feel like, because I was wearing sari, I could feel like the certain parts of my body which was never like shown in public were getting like air flowing into it, which I felt very weird. I was wearing the bra for the first time, and I understood why it's actually pain to wear a bra and it cuts the midriff. One of my friend told me, you need to, like, when you tie the underskirt, you have to tie it tight so that it actually makes a mark on your hip. All of those was new to me. I was like, I was open to this new world. And I went on stage, and my friend told me, listen, when you walk, you have to kick the sari and walk. That's what you need to do. And I was like, okay. Now, with all this in mind, I walked to the stage. Everybody was hooting, howling, it was just like that, one of those, like, a star has arrived, that sort of thing. I went on stage, I sang a Malayalam song, and after that they couldn't get enough of me. So they told me to, like, you need to dance to a song. And I danced to Kajarari. And it's not a Kajarari, the typical Asharai. I did my own element of comedy twist to it also. And that's how it all started. And that's, I still see it as it just happened yesterday. And like, it's the memory is so vivid. And this month, actually, I will complete 3 years.
3 years of performing in drag.
Performing in drag,
That's lovely. So, what do you think is the best and the worst thing about being Maya?
So the best thing is that I can actually form an illusion, and that is how Maya came across, where I am mother of illusion. I can actually come on stage as a woman, and people's sexuality is questioned, like both. It's not just men; it's just women as well. They're wondering, guy or a girl. We don't understand, and it's forming that illusion of a woman, a total, elegant, graceful woman, which people always look to other people, other icons to. So that is the best thing that I love doing. And there are times when I can see there are those guys who are like, they can't stand me, but they're there. And then at the same time, I can look at them straight in the eye and say, listen, I'm here, you need to take me. This is me, I'm standing on stage. You have to actually accept me who I am. The worst part is being the whole get-up. Okay. Like, I have to, if the longer duration it is, the longer I'll start, like, I want to, like, take off the wig, because the wig, I'm actually sweating inside. And then, like, wearing the whole drag and all of that. So that is like if I'm there for one period of time, that is like the longest I've been was like I put on my makeup, everything. I was ready by 11:30 till 6:30 in the morning. That's the longest time I've ever been in drag. And by the time I was done, I think I was totally drunk also. So I was happy to remove the makeup and everything and remove everything. And I was so happy to do it. So I think there is this whole side of like, I'm enjoying at the same time, I hate it. Like at the fact like, because also the hating part is like you have to wait. My patience level has grown bigger after I started doing drag, because you have to like be patient when somebody's putting makeup on you or you are putting makeup on yourself. And then you have to like, what I don't like is when people tell me hurry up, and I'm like, what are you saying? I take like time to get ready. So that is what I actually what best and the worst of drag. So yeah.
Okay, so are Alex and Maya different people or the same person?
They have the same soul. So they both are the same person. There is no difference in them, except that Maya's persona is actually like larger than life. And that is what I do. Alex and Maya are the same person. We always existed together. Just that there was a whole point where she had to come out. And with she coming out, she yanked Alex also out of the closet. So that's what happened.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Maya, for joining us today. I'm incredibly thankful for you to agreeing to be our finale guest. It was just amazing talking to you.
I'm really grateful to be part of this show. Thank you so much.
Any parting comments?
Yeah. So I'm known as the Queen of Love, and I keep telling people that the only thing that you need to do is just keep spreading love, and that's all you need to do. Like, like I go with what RuPaul says: if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? And that is what that's where you start. You start loving yourself, and then you start loving others, and then your life is set for you. So yeah.
Wow, lovely words. So that was Alex and Maya on our finale episode. I had an amazing conversation trying to understand her journey and just things that she has gone through to become who she is today. Thanks for joining us today, and please be back. This was our finale episode, so please write into us just to help us understand what is it that you would like to see in the future, and join us again when we take you on another interesting journey of somebody trying to fit in. Thank you.